Hi everyone.
Hey, hey. So
Oh, what a week.
I'm curious how this is gonna go because I have two streams of thought with this title. And I want to see where you take it before I veer off the track. Because I have a feeling I will. So I'm curious.
Well, I
So
did.
you selected keeping focused.
I did.
And then you gave me like a paragraph backstory, but I mean, I'm not even sure that backstory really helps me. So why don't you give the backstory on why keeping focused is your topic this week?
Okay, all right. So I was being a bit ambiguous because there's a side of me that is keeping focused, but I don't know if it's serving me. And that's why I wanted to have the title of keeping focus, because I think sometimes what we'll do is we will stay focused on something and is it necessary?
Hmm.
So this week, look, this week has been good. I've just found myself distracted in my head with an incident that occurred, and I keep replaying it over and over in my head.
Oh, okay.
So I'm staying focused on the incident that happened a week ago. And why is that serving me? I don't think it is. So, look, I pride myself on keeping focused. If I get hold of something, I have a reputation. They'll say, Chris will get it done. And I will. I'll get it done. Give it to me, I'll make it happen.
Hmm.
Which relies on a lot of keeping focus, not getting distracted by the shiny objects, being able to come back to it, follow up, making sure that the final pieces are brought together. And I think that's a really cool skill. I'm biased. I like that skill. I like the focus. But I find that that skill transfers to my brain when it's emotionally challenged circumstance and I stay in that keeping focused loop and I just replay things over and over and over.
I thought that was only my head that did the replaying of everything all the time.
It must be a club of at least the two of
I'd
us.
like to get out of the club from time to time, but yes, anyway, keep going.
So what I found myself doing was there are some family dynamics going on. We had a wedding recently. You may have heard about a wedding that we had recently, and and there's some family dynamics that have appeared out of that, and it's really interesting how some of those dynamics with my siblings in particular are a little bit of a sketchy history. And so, what I found myself doing is in conversations with nieces and other people, I found that I was really focusing on being very deliberate in how I spoke and what information I revealed and what information I didn't reveal. I was using that keeping focus skill really tight. And I believe, but someone else might come back and bite me, but I believe that it is something that was really serving for not only me, but for the individual
Okay.
that I was talking to. But as a result of that, because I intently kept this focus for the conversations I was having, I then found myself replaying those same conversations over and over again because I'd enhanced this keeping focused energy and I didn't know where the off switch was. So I found like 3 days later, I was still in this focus energy around it. I was still focusing on, did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing? Did I protect this person properly? Maybe I needed to, or maybe I need to open up to this other person a little bit more and trust. And what if I did oh my goodness, it has distracted me from what I actually want to be doing this week. And it's not because I'm having to have 10 conversations with people about it. It's just that it's having conversation in my own head.
Mhm.
And so when I'm working on a particular document or thinking about my new landing page, or I hear these little voices going on as well, and it takes me away from where I want to focus. So that's why I thought keeping focused was helpful because there was kind of this duality to it. Yes, it can be really helpful to be focused. And yes, I bring that skill. And yet sometimes I turn that skill into a bit of a negative that no longer serves me. And then because I'm so focused and the energy is focused, so it's very laser, it's very narrow, it's really difficult to see beyond that.
That's the thing with what whatever traits we consider to be superpowers or hindrances in our life, there's usually a flip side to that trait that we have that we think is super amazing and it keeps us, man, that's why I get the nickname, I'm the go-getter, I get it done, whatever, right? But it also has some pitfalls that you need
It
to pay
does.
attention to. So
Yeah.
my colleague Karen and I, we often refer to that as opening up and closing down. So what does this skill of mine open up for me and what does it close down for me? And when if I ever go into like a place like this, not with that particular trait, because maybe I'd be stuck in the stuck in my head there too. But I would ask myself, okay, how does this serve me and how does it not serve me? And to try to pinpoint when do I use it and when can I put it down and how can I put it down?
Yeah, really, really helpful questions. I personally find them really difficult to ask myself when I'm in it
Oh, I'm not saying
because
it's easy in the
because it's
moment.
so in there, right? It's fascinating. So it did help that I got to do a bit of a download with the girlfriend at gym earlier on this
Okay.
week. That was helpful because I got to get it a little bit of it out of my head and had some other feedback from someone else to help reassure me that all those things that I'd done were actually okay because I was starting, because I'd run them so many times. I wasn't sure if I'd done all the right things and I needed some reassurance. I mean, not that I could change any of it.
Hmm.
It's already been and gone, but I was still looking for reassurance that I'd done the right things. When I got that little nudge of, yes, okay, that makes sense because these other things didn't make sense. Uh, it's lessened, and I found myself maybe only 3 times over the last couple of days finding my brain going off into that area again. And so I'm slowly letting it go. So the focus is slowly moving away from that incident and coming back in being present. Because this is
What
the other pitfall, right?
well, what do you think about what did that conversation with your friend um help you with?
It helped me trust that I'd made some okay choices in the moment so that I didn't have to replay and go, oh, how should I have done that better next time? Which is kind of what my scenarios are.
Hmm.
So I tend to do I don't tend to run scenarios in a plan. I just have a plan. I've sorted it. I've made decisions. I, I'm done. I get to decisions pretty quickly. But I do run scenarios after the event. So I play back. I have a rewind and I play back constantly. And that's really, I don't know that that is effective. I can't see a positive for it at all, really, because there's no point in going backwards.
My guess is this protective mechanism for the future event. But I don't know what you're protecting yourself from. You know what I mean?
And a lot of that will be a perceived need for protection rather than actual protection. And I can say there's, some interesting dynamics historically with said siblings. And that's true, but it doesn't make what happens moving forward the same as what's happened in the past.
Mm.
Like that's not always the case. Uh, yeah. So I, So yeah, I really thought, there's, like you said, this the duality of this great skill that I have that gets me into a bit of trouble in my own head.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of skills are useful in certain areas of our life and not great in others, right? That kind of perfectionism gene or whatever that we carry with us doesn't serve us in all avenues. And
No.
not in all moments in time either, which is often a protective mechanism for ourselves not to either get in trouble or to make sure we get the praise or whatever it is that we're looking for at the end of the day. So, yeah, balance.
And then there's the other side of keeping focused, which is I know that a lot of people share with me that they really would like to stay a little more focused because they find procrastination is a thing. And so to be able to stay focused on something can be difficult.
So, what do you do with that person? That person who wants to be more focused?
Oh, oh. So for that person, I happen to have married one. I've got a few years up my sleeve on this
He's a
one.
procrastinator?
Oh, to the nth
Well,
degree.
good for him. High five.
Uh, he yeah, finds it difficult to make a decision, will put off doing the things. Oh, it's just constant. So what I do with him is I take the pressure off by going, oh, we've got nothing on this weekend, and then just say, oh, can you just do this one thing for me? And so I don't overload him because it's in the decision-making process that the procrastination appears. So I've worked that out because I'm not that person. So it's really easy to see where I can assist the person that suffers with, well, or lives with, doesn't suffer because they procrastinate. They don't really suffer with it.
Well,
It's just what they
well, I don't
do.
know. It depends on the person. I know I suffer with procrastination, but I suffer because I build things up into or make them to be bigger than they are, or I haven't chunked it down into small enough chunks to be able to attack said project. And that shows up anywhere in my life where the project is too big,
Yeah.
at
And
least
this
from
is
the
why I give
outset.
him the one thing, right? And rather than all the things, because if I gave him all the list that I still have that has to be done, he would just go, no.
I think the other thing that helps with that in general is what's the deeper why? What's the why behind the actions, right? So let's say the project is, I don't know, maybe it's renovations in the house. What's the
Oh,
bigger, because I know that can't be one of the things that's on the list. But I mean, if you know the why, like why you want this space to be what you want it to be, and you're both bought into that same why, it makes it easier to find the fuel and then to break it down into something that's more manageable.
absolutely. And so it's a really interesting dynamic when I'm very focused and he's a bit more procrastination. So to find the balance in how I can stay focused and feel like I've achieved a follow through without overwhelming. The other thing I find really helpful when someone gets a bit procrastinating about things, and you're right, it's for all the reasons you shared. One of the other pieces is to throw in some variety. So to actually stop doing the thing that you're trying to focus on and just do something else.
Mm.
Just allow the brain to just be distracted by something else completely. Now, I find I do this as a keep focus type person as well, but I do it for a very different reason. So I will be focusing and focusing, and I'll just like 4 hours later, I'm still focused on that thing. Oops, I forgot to eat lunch. Oops, that may have happened yesterday. Um, uh, lunch at 3:30 is still lunch, isn't it? I think so.
That happened to me 3 days ago also. That's funny.
So I get very tunnel vision. That's that narrow phaser laser focus that I get. And so it's actually really important when I'm in that headspace to go, no, you're going to take 10 minutes out because it allows me to see what else I might need to do.
Mm.
Like, I don't know, look after myself and eat lunch. Um,
It's not on the schedule. It's not on the schedule.
So I have to build it in. So I actually put timeout blocks in my calendar and then I set an alarm. So I give myself 10 minutes for timeout. Because if I'm in that focused, narrow energy, which I have been for the last 5, 6 days, I need a reminder to go interrupt that. What else are you doing? So yes, there's for a very different reason than I would throw in variety to someone who procrastinates. But it's still the same behavior. It's an interruptive behavior.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So I still haven't decided which route to take this. So I had two things that have kind of been predominant in my life lately. Um, One was focused on, so I'll let you decide. So the first one, we have a
Are you
critter.
procrastinating?
We have a critter in our attic,
Yes.
and I, I'm not even sure if focused is the right word. Probably obsessed over this for several days
Hmm.
because it bothers me. Like the house is, I still consider it new, even it's 12 years old. The roof is brand new, so how is something getting in my attic that somebody didn't do their job when they redid my roof this year? Um, and yeah, I hyper focused on that thing. I guess I'm telling the story anyways. So and the night that I found out there was something in there, I slept on the couch because I wasn't feeling great, so I just needed to get out into a cooler space, and I could hear the thing.
Well, that's going to create some obsession.
I kept like, I'm like, what is that sound? I've never heard this before. And I ended up getting up off the couch and looking up, and I'm like, whatever it is right there, right above my head. I know it's there. It's loud. I'm like, it sounds huge for whatever. And yeah, I couldn't wrap my head, or I couldn't stop thinking about this. And I obsessed over it for a few days. I had to call pest control and catastrophizing. Oh, this is going to be a big mess up there, and it's whatever's going to cost a lot of money. And how can this be? And oh, I'm going to have an argument with or a confrontation with the roof company that did the thing. Who's going to pay for this? It's not going to be me. It's going to be them. Blah blah blah. Anyways, I'm running through all
All
this
inside your head.
in
Yes.
my head. Sharing some of it with Julie, but not all of it because I keep it all in there and I swirl in my stuff. But it's what I find really interesting. As I started to do some of the steps that needed to be done, picking a pest control company, switching to another one, having a visit with that guy, um, like asking him questions about what we were dealing with and all that stuff, it alleviated a lot of the stress for me, and I stopped thinking about it in the same degree.
Okay. Because you
And
took some action.
I took some, right? And the less time I spent on it, the less time I've worried about it. So my focus has decreased after doing the few things that I did and after committing to what we've decided for remediation. Um, and guy can't even come for another 2 weeks, I don't think, to come do anything about it. I haven't heard it
Oh, oh, that's funny.
at all. And there's been several nights where I've got up in the middle of the night just to go like lie on the couch and sleep
See if
there
you could
just to
hear
see
it.
if I can, yeah, did it come back? And I haven't heard anything.
Huh.
Um, so I guess that's a good sign. But I just think it's interesting what we're focused on can sometimes become big and overwhelming. But when we divert our focus to something else or a different version of it, it can like really dissipate and be almost nothing.
Yeah. And and I also come across people who seem to have a bit of an incident happen and then literally within half an hour they've completely forgotten about it. They've moved on. I'm not that person. I'm really not that person, but others are. And I'll come back and tap them on the shoulder and go, you know, when you said, and they go, no, I don't remember. And I've been making it bigger in my head than's necessary. It's certainly bigger than they did.
Mhm.
So yes, definitely experience this over obsessing
Over
feel.
obsessing. The other avenue I took with this was I've noticed lately that my daughter will come to me generally late at night and want to tell me everything.
Ah,
And
yes,
I'm
the
in the space where
teenager.
I'm trying to either wind down and not think about anything. So and it just happens to be that like the country's baseball team is doing really well and they're in the playoffs and whatever. And my attention is split between, so I'm not focused. I'm trying to do two things at once and doing both of them really poorly. I want to listen to the game and watch the game, but my daughter is telling me about her day and telling me about this project that she's doing, and she wants me to listen to her like mini speech. And I'm like listening and then looking at the pitch, listening and then looking at the pitch. So I'm doing both piss poorly, really,
Yep.
really. So I guess what I wanted to highlight here is I don't do things well that where my focus is diverted into two things. I'm much better at it when I'm doing the one thing. So for me, it's making a clear request to my daughter to, okay, I'm going to give you my undivided attention for the next like 10 minutes or whatever. Pause the show or whatever I'm doing so that she gets all of me, but also give her a time limit that it's done because she doesn't have an off switch. Like there's no punctuation in her speech. It's just words. Just
Well, I mean, there are a certain amount of thousands of words that, need to
but
be
even if
spoken
she
in a
writes a
day.
report, there's no punctuation, there's no breaks, it's one paragraph. The whole report is one paragraph. So that's kind of how she rolls. So I understand that, but trying to help her focus to like help her land her points and ask her questions about what she's trying to get across. And I don't need a recitation of the whole book that you just read or whatever. Um, what do you need? What do you need? What do you want to tell me that's important? So being specific with her so that she's able to articulate well, and then we have our time together, and then we're done, and I can do the other thing. So it's
Mm.
setting an intention for the time and the space so that it has its purpose, so I can put my focus where it needs to be and is better served.
Again, coming back to this better served, right? And we're able to better serve not only your daughter, but your brain as well, because you don't then feel like, oh, I wasn't really paying attention to either.
Yeah, I
So,
wasn't
yes,
serving I wasn't serving either part of my brain for my daughter and for my like I just want to relax brain
yeah,
at
yeah.
10 o'clock at night or whatever it was. So
So, yes, there is something to be said for being able to be present and allow that bit of time. And so there's that similar build-in that I go, well, I need to break my keeping focus because otherwise it gets too laser focused and narrowed and goes on forever. So I need to install breaks. Interesting, you're installing a break for your daughter in the same way. I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Um, yeah, it's keeping focused is a skill, but I would say, and it needs to be used effectively, not always.
what do you mean by that?
Well, sometimes it's not always appropriate to be totally focused on the one issue. We, it, the other way that this got represented to me this last week is that actually it was a couple of clients. How are you going? One went, oh, it's terrible. I still haven't done this and I still haven't done that and I still haven't done this and this thing doesn't that. It's all the negatives. It's like, okay, so focusing on the negatives. Okay. I'm sure there was something good in there. Oh, yeah, actually, you know what I did well? And so there can be a focus on the negative. The opposite also happened where a client, I go, hi, how are you? Everything's great. Okay. What's great? Life. Okay. All right. What's great about life? Living. Oh, here we go. So there's this assumption of everything being blissfully amazing. And it's like, that's great, but you're asking me to help you grow. So what's the piece that you want to have grow? And that's a more challenging question for that person because they don't want to, they just want to focus on everything's amazing.
Hmm.
So we need to stay focused on where it's good to highlight the negative, good to highlight the positive, but what's really important to be focused on is the better question.
It's for each of those scenarios plus your own. I think it's interesting that you brought up the installing of brakes. You brought it up installing of brakes to like make sure that you are able to like stop your concentration, do something else, and then bring yourself back.
Yes.
But that's when it's serving you. But when your
Yes.
brain is not serving you and you're running in circles, and just like you've got a client whose everything is bad, installing a break in that pattern somehow to break from it. For you, the first one was to have a conversation with a friend and get it out of your head, right? So installing brakes when you get on that runaway train, and then installing a brake to go, okay, life is shit. I get that, but you've got to be a couple things that are going your way, right?
Something's got to be good.
So,
What if we focus on
so
that?
you installed a brake in that conversation also just to help them, like, oh, yeah, of course, there's definitely things.
Good stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I did find the really positive one really interesting as well, right? Where it's everything is blissful. And I question whether everything in life is blissful. It's lovely to take that approach, but is that reality?
Um, I mean, I have got my own questions for her, but that's more around why are you coming to see me if everything's great? So there
Yes,
must be
there is.
something that you want to work on this to support you to move forward. So,
Yes.
but again, that might be her pattern, and
Hmm.
that might need the break.
Another interruption. Yes. So depending on where the focus is, I think the interruption is always beneficial. Just different breaks are
Different
needed.
different versions of breaks.
Hmm.
So install brakes, people. That's what we're saying.
I think so. Just be willing to have them appear because otherwise you can go down little rabbit holes or big rabbit holes for way too many hours or days.
Yeah, and I am more than guilty of being so hyper focused on trying to make work things work, that I don't always take time for family and fun stuff. So I forced myself to take a break because the weather was so amazing last weekend. I made a decision on Thursday or Friday to take the family golfing. So we all went out as a family, which we haven't. I've never done that with them where we weren't like, living on the golf course, like doing stuff. So, and it was so nice. It was like almost 30 degrees in October, which is like a record day kind of. We played until sunset and we had beautiful skies and whatnot. It was really nice. It was a really fun afternoon. Um, but it was a forced break from my routine to do something and take my focus into a place that was better serving.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we all have to do that because we get caught in routine.
Hmm.
And admittedly, me replaying scenarios over in my head after an event has happened is a routine of mine.
And I see it now in my kids. So, sorry, just a little side note. So, you wouldn't have you might have got that from the post that I put, but we played golf, and my son borrowed my Julie's shoes,
Yeah,
and they fell apart.
yeah.
The soles literally came off of his feet, and he was livid when the shoe fell apart. He like threw the sole across the floor,
No.
across the course. And I'm like, dude. So I had to break his fit to like say, what's the worst that's going to happen? We're having fun. We're not playing great anyways. So let's just see what happens when you only got one shoe on. Maybe that was the reason, or one foot in Like maybe that's the reason why things
In
weren't.
a golf shoe. Yeah,
Let's
like
let's see what happens.
making an experiment.
And he made some amazing shots after that. Then the other sole came off and he's holding both up in the air. Like it was pretty funny. But it took kind of a slap in the face almost for him to like be able to let go of his poor play and then embrace what's coming. And it changed. His focus changed how he finished his day. So
And I think that's a lovely way to finish this, right?
yeah, so throw your shoes, people.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do. All right.
Awesome.